the Giants sweep the Dodgers in Los Angeles after sweeping the Cardinals in St. Louis. And this is the time to get the Dodgers. You get the Dodgers when they're down. And I have to say that right out of the gate. This is not the Dodgers team. Even at full health, this is not the Dodgers team of previous years. As we've been used to that loaded roster with all-stars up and down that lineup. And while the Dodgers have produced great young player after great young player, they're not the same. And they continue to bring up more great prospects, which is a great accomplishment considering they don't ever pick anywhere near the beginning of the draft. And I know it's a different sport. It's not the NFL. It's not the NBA. They develop players. The Giants go in, and it looked like they were going to lose the first game, but they come back from a 4-0 deficit. They win in extra innings. They actually come back to go up 5-4, and then in a rare blown save by Duvall, the Dodgers tied in the ninth, force extra innings, but the Giants win it in extra innings. So that's the first game. The second game, Alex Wood gave him 5 good innings, and it was a J.D. Davis grand slam. It was a 15-0 victory. A 15-0 victory in Los Angeles. So they already took the series, and the question was, hey, can you get a little greedy and sweep the Dodgers in Los Angeles? And they did. Great pitching matchup, Gonsolin versus Webb, and Webb was better. Not an A game, but he gave him 7 innings of 2-run baseball. I mean, he's an innings eater. Is he a top 5 pitcher in the National League? Probably not, but he is an all-star caliber pitcher, and he is a legit number 1. And I can't forget those 2 playoff starts he had in 21 against the Dodgers. You want to talk about impressive? That was it. But after some early season struggles, Webb has really rebounded, and he's, I would say, back to what we've expected from the second half of 2021, 2022, and now in 2023. So the starting pitchers got it done, whether it was Brebbia, who's pitching an inning, Alex Wood, who we know is limited, and then your ace shuts the door, and then Duvall. I'm not even going to complain about him. I'm not. He has been excellent. Sweep the Dodgers. And for the first time since that 2021 season, it was a bad year in 2022, but for the first time since that 21 season, you really have something to be excited about. But it's a different feeling, because in 21 it was players having outstanding years, the unexpected, but you didn't have young players. It was a very veteran team. I mean, really, outside of Webb and Duvall, I mean, it was an old team, and things just went right. This has a different feel because you're building towards something, and as good as 21 was, it was a setback. I hurt the Giants because they really brought that same formula again in 2022. Prospects weren't ready. Joey Bart, what a disappointment. He was and is. What we have in 2023 is veteran players, and I have to give Zaidi credit. The players he's brought in have produced more so than I would have expected. And now we have, to go along with those veteran players, the young players coming in. Bailey, Schmidt, Ramos. And there's more on the way with Kyle Harrison and hopefully Luciano. there's a lot of youth coming in. And it does feel like you're building towards something. You're seeing players take some lumps, but that's part of the process. And they're still winning. And the player that's most exciting to me has to be Matos, because with the Giants prospects, as much as you love the guys from, let's just say, the Bochy years, 10, 12, 13, when was, and I'm talking about, Posey and Pablo and Crawford and Bell, but when was the last time you had a outfielder that has worked out? Yeah, you can't remember. A real athletic player, a player that really has tools, who can run, who can hit, who can field. Yeah, I can't come up with one in all seriousness in my lifetime following the Giants. And he's not lighting the world on fire, but you see his range in the outfield, his base running. He's not striking out that much, and he's taking a lot of walks. He's got an eye at the plate. That's a great sign, and he looks like he fits. He looks like he belongs. He's not overwhelmed being as young as he is. He's 21 years old. So we have a summer to enjoy at the Giants. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team. Again, what even is a playoff team now? I joke about that with all these extra playoff teams, and how do you really judge a team? It's changed. The Giants sweep the Cardinals. The Giants sweep the Dodgers. And it's a good time for the Giants. I wish you could say it was a good time for the A's, but this is a good time for Giants and Giants fans. They have enough pitching. Well, we'll see if they have enough pitching. And the thing is, talk about depth, even with injuries in the lineup. What depth they have. It's almost hard to fill the lineup up, not in the sense that you don't have enough guys. You almost have too many guys that you could put in there that can play. Good problem to have, but that's the situation right now for the Giants. We're in mid to late June, and they sweep the Dodgers. And what's even extra sweet about sweeping the Dodgers is now they've overtaken the Dodgers. And I keep saying it and bringing this up, is the Dodgers, and it's not like their window's closed because of all the great prospects and young players they continue to bring in. I mean, they're at the top of the farm rankings every year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, top 5. But with all the talent they had, established talent and players, when we saw Max Scherzer come in, when we saw Trey Turner come in, I mean, it was unbelievable how stacked they were the last couple of years. All they got was that shortened season, 60-game season, COVID season World Series, which I do put an asterisk next to. I'm not saying it isn't worth anything, but it is not the equivalent to a regular World Series. It isn't. And they've gotten to multiple World Series, sure, but for the Dodgers only to get one championship, and that a 60-game regular season, it is a disappointment for the Dodgers. When just looking at the rosters in baseball, they were the favorite more often than they weren't. They were among the very best teams. You expected them to be there compared to the Giants of 10, 12, and 14. They were often underdogs in the playoffs. There was a question whether they should have even been in the playoffs. Little NBA news we'll get to quickly. Bradley Beal traded to the Suns, and Chris Paul not waived. Chris Paul is out, headed to the Wizards, along with Landry Shamet. The Suns make another big move. They're trying to go all out, but they have no depth. I mean, what's their bench? I mean, their starting lineup and starting five look as impressive as any in the game when you're just looking at talent. I don't know how those players gel together. I really don't with the Suns, because they don't have a true point guard. Devin Booker can play point guard. I think that's what their plan is. Well, he can play point guard, and then he can distribute to Durant and Beal. Interesting. But I'm still stepping back and saying they're even thinner than they were this last year. They felt like they were better without Chris Paul, and I suppose at this point of his career, they are. But they get Beal, but then they lose yet another good bench player, which they may be able to replace with somebody. But they're going to be so dependent on those four players. And I don't know how you can say that it's going to be an issue getting those three players the ball. Durant, who obviously is going to want the ball. He's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. Devin Booker was interesting, and it kind of worked for a few games against the Nuggets. Is he going to want to be the point guard and be a distributor more than a shooter and primary scorer for a whole season? I don't know about that. And then obviously Bradley Beal expects to have the ball often. He's not a point guard, he's a shooting guard. And then Chris Paul. What can you say about Chris Paul? That he's off to another team. It did not work out. He did get to the NBA Finals. He got close with the Suns, but the ultimate goal was to win. And it's never happened for anyone in the desert. Another team that Chris Paul has not been able to win with. They got to the finals. He played, I think, all right in that finals. I really think his numbers look better than how he actually performed. He played quite well the first half of that series, not so much the second half of the series as it went on. He probably ends up, there's already the rumors he'll end up with the Clippers. We already thought, well, the Lakers made a lot of sense for Chris Paul. He'll most likely end up in Los Angeles. But another disappointing stay for him. And Kevin Durant's still trying to make it work without the Warriors. Okay, you could have stayed here. You could have played with Steph Curry. I know Draymond Green's a headache, but you could have played with Steph Curry, who even let you be the star. He even deferred to you, and that wasn't good enough. Could have won multiple championships, additional championships on top of what they already won. And that's one of the series that we didn't get to see. I would have loved to see the Curry-Durant Warriors go up against the Nuggets. We're never going to see it. Another fun, hypothetical what-if matchup. So every time, yes, MLB tries to be in spotlight, NFL and NBA are right there. So that's about it for this episode. Just a quick episode. It's a good time for the Giants. The Warriors, getting off on them again. One more thing. Obviously, Dunleavy was announced as the GM. don't know how to feel about that one. And Bob Myers, most likely, like many great executives, coaches, overlooked players that we take for granted, not truly appreciate until they're gone. And he didn't get enough credit for all he did with the Warriors. Kerr got credit. Of course, Lacob, well, he put up the money and made many great decisions, and the players on the court. But the GM, and someone who really had the presence that Bob Myers had, and someone who, just for being in the building, not only for the decisions, but for the person he was, that's what they're going to miss as much as anything. And someone the players really respected. We'll see what happens with the Warriors in the offseason here and what might change. It's fair to say that the Warriors' best days are behind them. I don't think they're winning any more championships. I believe the window is closed for the Warriors, and we should be more thankful for what they did accomplish. I mean, 4 championships, 6 finals appearances, 4 in 8 years, 4 titles, and then 6 appearances in the finals in 8 years. It's better than any Bay Area team. Even the 49ers did not have any run like that in 8 years. They won 4 in 8 years, but 4 in 9 years. Warriors did 4 in 8, plus they got to the extra finals that they lost to. That's it, though. We'll have plenty of time to talk about NBA. There'll be plenty of time to talk about NFL. But the Giants are the surprise. See what they might do with starting pitching. But you know what the thing you can say about the Giants that we could not say for so many years is they are entertaining and they can hit. This team rakes up and down the lineup, and you finally have some players that should stay on this team for a long time.